Alright everyone, JamieStarr, New World News Network. So I just wrapped up my Beyonce's white supremacy video, and that story kind of stems from this one, so we're going to be doing a little bit of backtracking. So, Mike Cernovich and, what's this girl's name? It was just on the tip of my tongue. Cassandra Fairbanks. They were at the White House. They threw up the okay, because it's basically an inside joke, and y'all motherfuckers ain't in on it. So, they did that, and of course, because the media are in this wild, sensationalist supply and demand of outrage, everyone, of course, started running with it, and you had this. The Independent. 2 members of alt-right accused of making white supremacy hand signs in White House after receiving press passes. The journalists say the hand sign is innocent. So then you go. It says Mike Cernovich, Cassandra Fairbanks, got in there. Fairbanks is accused white power, except she's Puerto Rican. Can it be Puerto Rican power? There's the picture, and this person, Emma Roller, just 2 people doing a white power hand gesture in the White House. And this person works for Fusion. The Independent then picked up the thing. They keep trying to say that he is alt-right. Lucan is now alt-right. I mean, basically what happened is, now that the term alt-right has been put out, the GOP, traditional Republican conservative establishment that they used to say, Mitt Romney wants to put blacks back in chains. And, those guys that John McCain's a racist. And, well, now they're all loving, caring, compassionate conservatives, and the newer, younger people who have sort of, I think there's a good amount of people in this movement, and I could just be assuming, because I'm about to talk about myself, so I just want to sort of put a disclaimer out here. I might be projecting, but I don't think I'm the only one. So I will say, I think there are a handful of people in what you could consider the alt-right who identify as neo-libertarian, basically. And what I think it is it's people who have realized that the libertarian ideology, as it delves into that sort of anarchist area of, taxation is theft, are you a statist, all of that stuff, that they are just as much ideologues as their polar opposite, the social justice, anarchist, communist, whatever. So you've had people who, like the libertarian mindset, we're just more pragmatic, so we understand being Republican. And I had said this to people where I said, and I say this as a defense of Trump a lot lately, where we didn't get into this shit show overnight. So you can't expect an overnight solution, really. So I think the only way we could end up at a more traditional-seeming Americana restoration would be going from, Republican, leaning more conservative, then towards libertarian. It's going to have to be baby steps, because we were baby stepped to this point. One of the concerns with Ron Paul, you had Webster Tarpley, who I used to respect. I would see him in documentaries, and lately he's just been sort of fanatical. He gets fanatical against Ron Paul. He gets fanatical against Donald Trump. And he tried saying that because Ron Paul wanted to cut back the welfare state and everything like that, that he was just going to cast people out, homeless and starving, into the streets, that we were just going to cut them all off, and that there would be no compassion or no charity. Now, let's keep in mind, in our current situation, and I've done videos on this about fascism already being in America, it's been here. We'll arrest old military vets setting up public soup kitchens in parks and everything like that. We'll arrest people who are trying to feed the hungry out of their pocket. So all you'd have to do is, not make those people criminals, and I'm pretty sure we could figure out how to feed everyone. In fact, it would probably create job opportunities for people. So, anyway, back to this. People throwing up the hand sign. And Pepe with the hand sign. Trump has normalized it. So, of all this, well, update. This article originally indicated the Anti-Defamation League has characterized the gesture under discussion as racist hand sign. The piece went on to describe a two-handed hand sign which forms the letters W and the other form P to represent white power. And, you know, I looked at a thing, and it's basically the West Side and then the blood sign. So, or, you know, there's like a Crips up, Bloods down. So it's like it's almost like the West Side and like a Crips hand sign. So if you're out in California, you know what's going on. Other hand forms P, two-hand gesture. This is, the W in this symbol hand gesture is the same as the single-handed OK symbol. Subsequently, the ADL has suggested the one-handed OK symbol alone is not a sign indicating white supremacy. So these guys are all full of shit. And, so we can exit out of that. Here's the same article from Media Matters, and it goes on about how Cernovich was basically blasting the media and asking them why they're not covering Antifa. And their first thing is, who are you? How dare you talk to us? We're the controllers of reality. Oh. They all need to just be burnt alive. I mean, don't you ever wish if there was a terrorist attack to happen that, like, all of your least favorite people could be in that place at that time? I mean, I don't ever wish a terrorist attack would happen. I'm just saying, I wish it would be people we wouldn't miss. That's it. So, Jay-Z and Beyonce inspired white power symbol claims alt-right figure. A 4chan prank creates controversy over supposed white supremacist signaling in the Trump White House. Controversy over supposed white supremacist signaling in the White House flared up this weekend on mainstream media and social media alike, pouring gasoline on a dumpster fire. One problem, it was all a 4chan prank designed to force fact-adverse journalists into revealing themselves, and it worked. It kicked off this past weekend when Sputnik reporter Cassandra Fairbanks tweeted a photo of herself and Cernovich making the universal sign for OK in the White House. That's all Independent's Emily Sugarman needed to publish a piece alleging the OK hand gestures is a white power salute. But according to Cernovich, it started off as a joke about Jay-Z and Beyonce used to do it, and some said it was an Illuminati symbol. We started doing it as a joke, and it took on a life of its own. Know Your Meme's documentation of the hand signal seems to corroborate Cernovich's explanation. According to the reference guide for memes, predominant Trump supporters have been making the hand symbol for years. So where did the idea that OK sign is a white power symbol gesture come from? As has often been the case in recent months, it was all a 4chan trolling exercise. So they go through a bunch of the other ones. He will not divide us. Hitler did nothing wrong. And here you see the thing. We must flood Twitter and other social media websites with spam, claiming that the OK hand sign is a symbol of white supremacy. Make false accusations with basic white girl names and type shit like, oh my god, that's so true. Use as many emojis as you can, please. It would also be good for us to associate the OK symbol with being a symbol of white supremacy because Mel Gibson used it. Use the hashtag #PowerHandPrivilege in all of your tweets and whatnot related to this. Bonus points if your profile pic is something related to supporting feminism. Leftists have dug so deep into their lunacy, we must force to dig more until the rest of society ain't going anywhere near that shit. And you know, after the election, I made this point to a friend of mine who's a liberal. Yeah, and it's so funny because I have these people going to me being like, the future's liberal. Of course Hillary's got to win. Millennials and us, we're all liberal. And then you get, oh, well, the future's about gender inclusivity and no one's going to have a gender and everyone's going to just be fluid and future's conservative bitches. Anyway, so I told this friend of mine when he was trying to tell me about how liberal everyone was becoming, I said, here's the thing you don't realize, buddy. Look at that women's march. Look at them. Look at Black Lives Matter's marches. Oh, we're burning down the town. Oh, I'm a nasty woman. From the blood stains on my panties, I think about bombing the White House, says Madonna. I mean, who wants to be a part of that? Who in their right mind? That's the better question. Who in their right mind? I mean, and I told this to a friend. I said, you have all of these women who are, oh, can you believe Donald Trump said pussy? And then they're out there being like, my pussy grabs back because my pussy is attached to a nasty woman. It's like, okay, obviously you don't have a problem with the word pussy being used. You're wearing a pussy hat now. I mean, so where's the issue? Like, you can't mock them. They're doing it for us. You just gotta point at them and go, I mean, that's it. So anyway, it goes down. Milo doing it. Two people doing a white power hand gesture for reference. And I don't know if this is like, I went to this, and it's funny because it has this picture here. And then if you go to the ADL thing, and I wasn't sure if this was even the real ADL. I mean, I guess it is, but it shows a two-handed thing there. And it's so blurry that I almost can't even believe it's real. But I guess, I mean, this is the one they're talking about, where it's with the two hands and everything like that. So, yeah. People got trolled, and from what I've read, Fairbanks is suing. She's found some lawyers, and they're going after people for defamation and everything like that. And lawfare is going to be how we can shut this down. So keep trolling them, and when they report the shit, sue the shit out of them. If they're wrong and if they make these crazy statements that can seriously cause harm to your reputation and everything like that. I'm waiting for my golden opportunity. I saw this thing where someone who's transgender is trying to alter their birth certificate to reflect how they feel on the inside. And it's so funny, actually, because I got into an argument with people about transgender stuff, and they tried to say I was wrong because I made some remark where I said, oh, yeah, sometimes, because they said I don't know anything about trans. And I said, well, trans what? You have transgender, you have trans-able. I mean, there are people who will find kooky enough shrinks that they'll convince them that they were meant to be blind and pour bleach in their eyes because for some reason we think we should do everything to manipulate reality to match the mentality. So I was told, no, you're wrong. Gender is about how they feel on the inside, and sex is about physical biology. You don't know anything. And I said, no, that's exactly what I said. You were trying to manipulate the physical to match your feelings. But they didn't like how I was putting it. That's the thing. I mean, you can check. Blair White did a debate with this gender queer fluid creature, and it was all about, oh, well, you said you wish there was a cure, so you must want a trans genocide. And it's like, no, cure doesn't mean kill. Like, and it's just all of this, if you don't phrase it in the way I phrase it, then I'm then able to say you mean the opposite of what you're saying. Like, it's at such a point where I think even engaging with these people is useless. There's nothing that's going to be gained from it. They need to just be isolated. They need to be isolated, and, I mean, they're not going to reproduce. They're sterile, the trannies are, and social justice warriors think having children is bad for the earth, and Just isolate them and let them die off. So anyway, that's all I got to say.